If you want to see my future restoration videos, make sure to subscribe.
Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about how to prevent cam chain failure in 1999 to 2006 Harley Davidson twin cam engines. I'm David, and this is Death Proof Productions. When I worked for Harley Davidson, when the twin cam first come out, and when I say Harley Davidson, I don't mean the factory. I worked for Bumpus Harley Davidson in Memphis, Tennessee. And it was in the early 2000s. Actually, the twin cam B had just come out, but my Dyna that you just saw on that intro, it was one of the first 100 twin cams to come off the line back in '99. And so, I mean, I've been around the twin cam since it was born. Now, what I can tell you is the twin cam engine itself with the old tensioners is not something to be afraid of. If you come across a used one for sale, don't think, oh, I can't buy that because it's got the old tensioners or I'm going to have to spend a lot of money to upgrade it or whatever. That's not the case. I had thousands of customers that never had a twin cam tensioner failure ever. I haven't known that many people. I've known a handful. Believe it or not, I was one of them. I'll tell you that story on another episode. But it didn't have nothing to do with a fault in the engine, and had to do, once again, to just age. But the thing is, where Harley Davidson kind of dropped the ball, I mean, it was new. And they had done their tests and stuff like that, and their tests showed that at 30,000 miles is when you should inspect the tensioners. Well, maybe that might have been right. At 30,000 miles, you check the tensioners on whatever brand of manufacturer that was making the tensioners for them at the time, but then they may have swapped or who knows. But when I first started hearing about it as a technician working at the dealership there as a mechanic, I'm like, you know, it just makes good sense to me that you're doing so much other stuff at 10,000 miles, you know, your net fall away, and your wheel bearings, and, you know, belt tension and all this kind of stuff. What's another 10 minutes to pull the cam cover off and check it? So I talk my customers into letting me, at every 10,000 miles, inspect the tensioners to make sure that they were, you know, where the wear was. And it didn't. And now I'm not going to say every mechanic's going to do this. I didn't charge them no more labor rate as far as any more time on the ticket, other than what I was already doing to start off with. I just charged them for the gasket, and that was it. And it didn't take no time to do it. So if you check your twin cam at every 10,000 miles, which is what Harley should have done, is told the technician to do this. If you check it at every 10,000 miles, the chances of it coming apart on you before your next service is pretty much slim to none. Like I said, I've worked on thousands of bikes back in, let's see, from the early 2000 to 2000, right before the hydraulic tensioner came out is when I left Bumpus. But if you do this, you don't have to worry about it. Now, one of the problems that you run into, or what people ran into back then, was because it had the fixed push rods, which what they went to when they went to the Evo after the shovel heads, you had to take off the top end. You ain't got to pull the heads off, but you got to pull the rocker boxes off, the tank, and all that stuff. And which was fine for an Evo because it didn't have a cam chain. It just had a single cam. It was gear drive. The fixed push rods was fine. When Harley went to that, they didn't think about that if that failed or was about to fail, that it was a big job that cost a lot of money for somebody to replace. So that, you know, makes somebody who looked at the shoes on it and say, oh, well, they're halfway wore, I'll just go ahead and change them because they're looking at a $600 job. Anyway, so if you do this at 10,000 miles, your chance of a failure is slim. But now there are other options if you wanted to. You can go to the S&S gear drive. It's pretty expensive. You also run into the fact that your flywheels, the run out has to be checked out on them, and it's got to be within 0.003 run out for it to not have the gear whine and cause excessive wear on the dedendum and addendum of the gear. The other option is you can go to the Screaming Eagle hydraulic cam support plate. Once again, it's a little expensive. You're going to have to pay a tech if you're not a mechanic to put it in. I may make a video of how to do it. You can watch my video and you'll know how to do it. But you're still going to be out the money that it costs to buy the parts and stuff, and they're not cheap. When you stop and think, if you're going to spend $600 to eliminate this problem, why not just spend $50 every year? I mean, realistically, not many of us are riding over 10,000 miles a year, but let's just say you are. $50 extra to have it checked once a year when you have that 10,000 mile service done. You can go a long time, save a lot of money. Alright, now this is me doing my 80,000 mile service on my Heritage Sawtail, and I'm getting it prepped and ready for the riding season to take it coast to coast like I do every year. Now, this actually is also me checking it's like a test I did. The outside tensioner is a Psycho by Psycho, which actually I'm running in several of my other twin cam. But the inside tensioner, now that's Harley Davidson. Now I did that on purpose just to do this test. And you'll see that the wear at the exact same mileage is considerably more. Now, it's not to where the service manual says that I need to replace them, but it's so close that when I get done with this riding season, I'm pulling the cams out, or cam support plate, and I'm changing it out. Of course, I'm going to go with the Psycho for Psychos. Now, I'll put a link for y'all to be able to find them, and if you need to purchase some yourself. Now, the cool thing is they're 15 bucks. You actually purchase a rebuild kit. It's a shoe with all the little components for you to take that shoe and put it on the bracket and spring of the factory one, which I think that's genius. You know, why spend money on stuff you don't need? Harley should have done that. So anyway, so far I'm really pleased with the way they're turning out. I wish Harley Davidson had put in the same amount of effort, but anyway, I'm in it here. 10,000 miles, check it. We'll drink the beer in the refrigerator. I'll see you on the next video.